Hello, Stephanie, and a beautiful day in Salem with no talk of walkouts. But it's early. This is the start of a 5-month-long session set to address issues in challenging times.
We will honor the colors.
At Oregon State Capitol, the 83rd Legislative Assembly is now underway in both the House
Courtesies of the Senate.
and the Senate, where lawmakers greeted each other as friends before getting down to business. There were no ceremonial theatrics to kick things off, and no partisan fireworks either. That works for Albany Republican Representative Shelley Bossart Davis.
Let's see, this is my 4th session, so it feels like just a normal day and a lot of smiles on the House floor, so we'll consider that a good thing.
I think in first day going back to school, that's what it looks like.
Senate Majority Leader Casey Jama told us it was a good start to an important legislative session.
And I think Oregonians are expecting us to do great work, and we're here to roll our sleeves and do the great work that is expected from Oregonians.
Transmitted the President's desk for referral. Second reading of
There
Senate
are a
measures.
lot of issues to cover in the next 5 months. Governor Tina Kotek has made her priorities clear, starting with housing and homelessness, then behavioral health care, and also education. Democrats are in the driver's seat with supermajorities in both the House and the Senate. They will also try to come up with a transportation package to fix problem roadways and at least finish up some major projects.
Senate Bill 887 relating to
In today's sessions, the first batch of bills were named in both sessions, a procedural move delivered in a fast, low monotone. The start of managing at least a few thousand bills to be considered this session. Jama says there is plenty to work on together.
There is always disagreement, of course, as part of the natural process of being in this building. But I think I want to just let you know that 90% of the bills that we pass is actually bipartisan bills. And so we want to collaborate and work with our colleagues on the Republican side of it.
Bossart Davis is all for making progress as long as the bottom line is considered.
Is we have to make sure that we're not asking Oregonians to pay more to get less, and that's something that we saw in the governor's budget that came through. It's more money, and Oregonians have to ask themselves, are we getting more for that?
The 2025 legislative session, underway in challenging times, will be about moving forward without breaking the bank.
People are really struggling in Oregon, and we make a lot of progress, but we need to continue to stay on the course and ensuring that we take care of the business of Oregonians are expecting us to take care of it.
Without objection, the Senate is adjourned until 11 a.m. Thursday, January 23rd.
So today's full sessions were under 30 minutes long, each of them, but don't worry, they stayed busy. There was plenty of committee work that started up throughout the day, and that'll be going on over the next few months as well. Now a topic that we touched on that is likely to come up this session, it's funding for public schools. In the past year, we've seen teachers from several school districts going on strike. Unions say the districts aren't giving them enough resources. Districts say the state isn't giving them enough money. Governor Kotek and state Democrats say they want to see the school districts start to perform better.
We need to invest more in schools, but we also need to produce better outcomes. And I'm excited about some of the work we did in the last legislative session. You probably remember the Early Literacy Success Initiative, where we invested almost $200 million in targeted instruction based on what we know, based on research, evidence-based practices are actually going to lead to better reading retention and reading skill development for kids.
And funding for wildfire fighting is expected to come up as well. Last year was just a huge one, the costliest wildfire season in Oregon history. And the Department of Forestry ran out of money to pay for it. In fact, the governor had to call a special session to deal with that and get it paid. Republicans say they want to see money set aside for fighting wildfires.
Treasurer Reed at the time, now Secretary of State, put out a memo to us, I think it was in 21, after a rough fire season in 2020, and said, I think you should take some ending fund balance of about $300 million and put it into a fund that funds wildfires. We didn't do that at the time. We should have. Like, I think there's bipartisan recognition that that was a really good idea that we should have done. And something like that, whether $300 million is the right number or not, I think is debatable, but something should be done to put money aside directly pre-planned for that event, as opposed to getting to the end of session and saying, how are we going to pay for this, which is where we are now.
And back to where we started now, which is the prospect of a Republican walkout if they feel they can't stop Democrats any other way. Well, Democrats, they have a supermajority, but that is not a quorum. It's not enough to stop Republicans from walking out if they want to. But of course, Republicans know the ramifications of leaving the floor on the House or the Senate. It could cost them their jobs. They wouldn't be able to run again for that seat in the future. So it's something they'll probably use quite judiciously if they use it at all this session. Stephanie, we'll send it back to you in Portland.
Okay, we'll have to see. Thanks so much, Tim.